Let's get in some parlay builder, parlay picks, parlay squad, whatever you want to call it, Chris. You have, was it over plus 500? Mine's below plus 400. So let's start with your big money bet. What do you got for this week?
Yeah, so I mean, trying something new this week, which is kind of fun. Use the brain in a little bit different way here. But we built a couple parlays. You kind of told me the concept of your parlay first, so I'm like, well, I got to do something opposite because it's just cooler to do that, I think. And so I went to go find some overs, not to give too much away on what
spoiler
Adam might be doing for his parlay. Wow, and new segment, new audio tools here. So that's we're always bringing something new to the listeners. But no, I got a 3-pick parlay here. We're talking 3 different games, all overs. I will explain it to you in a second here. We've got Wolves versus Leeds. I believe Wolves hosting Leeds, over 2.5 goals. That on its own is plus 125. I kind of love this. Leeds they've given up 6 goals in 4 games. Wolves, on the other hand, have been worse. They've conceded 9 goals in 4 games. So I'm kind of coupling the two teams there. I don't know why. I mean, maybe the 2.5 is at plus 125 because they suck. They're not very good offensively, which is fair. Between the two, they have 4 goals. So that's kind of why you're getting to that. But I think something's got to give there on their defenses have been so poor. So I like that one there. That's a good standalone bet, by the way, I think. And then the next one is Brighton-Tottenham, which is just you look at any given Tottenham game, which they have been much better to start the season defensively. I think you just look at the previous history. Last year was 4-1, 3-2. The season before was 2-1, 4-2. That's a lot of goals. I just think that continues. I'm going over 3.5. So that's the second leg of the parlay. That is over 3.5 is plus 160. So we got a plus 125 and a plus 160.
Yeah.
Third one, Adam was shaking his head, so I had to make sure that I didn't misquote, but I'm pretty positive I quoted it correctly. He's sowing doubt in my bet already. And then the third leg is, I feel like, the one that might be the hardest, but yet it's the lowest total. And that is a marquee matchup between Manchester United and Chelsea. I'm taking over 1.5. Oh, sorry, minus 550. My bad.
Okay, we're plugging in minus 550 over 1.5. All right.
There we go. That's tough pre-show research. But anyways, it all comes together. It's plus 591.
Okay.
So you put those 3 together, you got the over 1.5 for Man United Chelsea is minus 550. The over 2.5 for Wolves Leeds is plus 125. Good standalone bet. And then you have the over 3.5 for Brighton Tottenham is plus 160, and total 591.
That's a hefty bet. I have to challenge you though. I have to challenge you because I am taking under. So before I get into this I saw somewhere on Twitter. This week has the lowest combined implied totals in years in the Premier League. So all these matchups imply there's not going to be very many goals. And I'm kind of leaning into it. Chris is going against that. He's going with goals. He doesn't care. He likes the odds, but I'm kind of going the other way. I'm going with the odds. I'm going under goals. Speaking of that Wolverhampton Leeds match, I'm going under 2.5. That's minus 160. Chris, you said Leeds allow 6 goals. 5 of those were at Arsenal. Come on, who are we kidding ourselves right now? Leeds entered the Premier League. They had the best XG against in the Championship last season. I know they conceded more than Burnley, but their defense, according to the underlying numbers, was better. Jorgen Strand-Larsen still going to be out for Wolverhampton. You throw that into a Leeds attack that has been bad, a Wolves attack that has been bad. Under 2.5 is minus 160, which is kind of a wild number right here. Kind of shows how struggling these teams are, which Chris mentioned. But, he liked the odds a little bit, but I'm throwing under 2.5 minus 160. Going to West Ham, Crystal Palace, under 2.5 minus 125. If these teams play the way they have been, Crystal Palace without Eze, without that attacking spark early, Pino has been solid, but this team just really hasn't really created much this season. They're going to try and, go off the counter, I guess, against West Ham, which good luck, but maybe have been the best defense in the league, top 5 defense early. Kind Can West Ham score? We'll see what that lineup looks like. Can Crystal Palace score? So under 2.5 minus 125. And the final piece of my parlay, two more struggling sides. Aston Villa haven't scored yet. Sunderland struggled to score as well. Though they are at home. Aston Villa's defense actually has been pretty good given that they aren't scoring. They do have some points this season, but under 2.5 is minus 145 in that game. At some point, Aston Villa are going to score. Maybe it's this game, but one thing about Sunderland is they show life. They've been showing life at home. So I think they still show life, and their defense shows up here. Aston Villa, maybe their defense shows up as well. I think all these games kind of have like a scoreless draw possibilities with them, maybe 1-1, 1-0, 2-0 kind of ways for all these games. So throw those together, and we're getting plus 394 odds. The under parlay going against Chris's over parlay.
Do you feel like spiritually sterile for taking 3 unders? I feel like there's like got to be something within you that's hurting.
I'm just going with the numbers. All these teams are terrible offensively, so why am I going to bet the overs on teams that can't score?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, I love a good bet when it works, obviously, but this one feels like it might not feel good even if it hits.
I think it's going to feel plenty good when it hits. We're talking plus 400. What do you mean it's not going to feel good?
The bright side of this is one of us has to be right on this Wolverhampton Leeds game.
Look at the bottom of the table in terms of scoring. Aston Villa 0 goals, Leeds 1 goal, Wolves 2 goals, West Ham 4.
Aston Villa have been Aston Villa,
I've been ass. Yes.
But yeah, no, I there's no disputing that. But I think that those are good. But I think the Wolves Leeds bet I think that over 2.5 is
fine. We will agree to disagree.
One of us will be right. That's the beauty of it.
Unless one team scores half a goal, and at that point, I don't know what happened in the match. But
yeah, well, we shall see.